All right, hey gang, Nate Bear here, lead technical tactician for Monument Traders Alliance and trade of the day. And in this week's video, I want to go over the indexes. I want to show you the SPY, where we're at. You can already see that kind of right here on my screen. Hint, target achieved, right? All-time highs. I want to go over the QQQ, and then I've got a fresh trade setup, one that I am watching for entry this week. Okay, so let's just dive right in. Now, as I mentioned, first thing I want to cover is the SPY, excuse me, S&P 500. Now we've been talking about this all year, all of last year, all through this run. We're going to make new highs. We're going to make new highs. We're going to make new highs. Well, we didn't make new highs last year, but after a couple weeks of a little bit of chop back and forth this year, guess what? Here we are, fresh all-time highs on Friday, fresh all-time highs today on Monday. And, we're just sort of up near all-time highs, right? There's absolutely nothing bearish about new lifetime highs. I can't say it enough. Every single day people ask me, when are we going to short? When are we going to short? When are we going to short? We're going to short when the market tells us it's time to short. And for me, that will be a break of this trend line. Consistent closes below the 21 EMA, a move below, not just a test, but a move below the 55 EMA here on a closing basis. Then it will be time to short. Or, hey, you know what? Maybe next week, as earnings season continues to roll, this week it sort of starts with Netflix and Tesla, but next week we've got, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, all the big names, Meta, all the big tech names. If for some reason they come out and take a huge dump for earnings, yeah, maybe we're going to time to start shorting, right? Because these names that have been propping everything up, that have been pushing everything higher, they're going to need to beat, and I think they will, but they're going to need to beat in order for this to continue. Either that or a pivot from the Fed, like a major pivot, like, hey, you know what? Just kidding. We're actually not going to lower interest rates at all this year. Market will not like that, but I don't see those things happening. I see, 3 to 4 interest rate cuts this year, and I see potentially solid performance from the big names here in earnings season as we kick things off this week with Netflix and Tesla. All right, so the Qs, it's the same story here, gang. Same exact story. Fresh lifetime highs today. We are getting a little extended. We're up here at plus 3 ATR. And with that in mind, I am staying away from this week names like NVIDIA here at plus 4 ATR. Names like AMD, which are plus 3 ATR. Names like, even names like Meta, right? Plus 3 ATR. Google has been on an absolute tear, plus 3 ATR. I'm looking instead for names that have solid patterns, which have not yet gotten to the point where they're extended. And one of my targets for this week is going to be this guy right here, Ulta. Now, I've already marked the chart up. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here so we can take a look at it. And get this resized. So Ulta, a couple of cool things about this chart. Number one, it is an earnings winner, right? So right here, you can see Ulta beat earnings. That's the gap from here to here. So an earnings winner, and they've basically been going sideways in this channel since earnings. Well, now we have a fresh signal here, a fresh daily squeeze, right? We're 3 dots in, and I think this signal right here is going to be what eventually breaks us out of this channel and works us up into these targets, right? The extension targets, the 1272 and the 1618 targets. Now, as far as what I would play, I'm going to go up here and look at two things. Number one, earnings. Their next earnings are on March 14th. So when I'm considering a big swing trade on one of these major names, I like to go out past that next earnings date because that allows me to buy calls with confidence because the IV is going to stay elevated in that series because of the known volatility event, in this case, earnings. So I'm going to go out to the March 15th calls. And I think, again, it's okay to buy some out of the money calls here because we're doing it in the earnings series. So I would look at these $500 calls for 315.24. Now, I've marked this up already, but I'd like to buy that between 471 and 475, which is basically the point of control here, this red line, and the 21 EMA, which is right here. So between 471 and 475, that's the area that I want to pick up the March monthly 315.24 $500 calls. Okay. And then a stop would be on a daily close below 465, which is basically the low of the pattern. So if we come down in here and start to break and close below kind of right in here, like if this were to suddenly roll over and we started closing down here, then for me, it's like, okay, that's not going to work. I'm going to need a fresh signal, because then what that would mean is the momentum here likely will roll lower and the squeeze will fire short instead of long. All right, so that's what I've got for this week. I hope it helps. I hope you guys are off to a great start this year, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching.